We've got the 9-1 Anthony Fowler versus 31-5 Brian Rose. So we've got Anthony Fowler, who was 9-0 with 8 KOs. He was looking like a major prospect, and he still is. But he lost his last fight, which was a contest versus the undefeated Scott Fitzgerald. He wants that rematch, so he needs to win this fight here and look good doing it. Versus the very experienced 31 wins, 5 losses, Brian Rose. He has been around the block. He's fought for world titles. He's got his Lonsdale belt outright, and he came up short against Demetrius Andrade, Boo Boo. We call him Boo Boo. And he's very experienced. He's the man with the experience in this contest. It's very much a crossroads fight. You've got youth versus experience. Fowler's style, very much a come-forward boxer, uses a lot. I wouldn't say relies on power, but I would say that power is certainly a part of his game. It's with 8 KOs as well. He seems to get to everyone that he's fought against, well, almost everyone that he's fought against. I think he's got great boxing skills though. From the amateurs, I remember sparring him when he was, he was an amateur champion. He's got a great fundamental skill basis. I think if he used it a bit more, I'd love to see that, because he'd still have power. But I think now, as a pro, I think that's sometimes what you feel you have to do is become something different when you turn pro. I think I'd like to see him go back to more of his boxing. So Brian Rose typically is a stand-up boxer, uses an excellent left jab. He's not known as a big puncher, so there aren't many stoppages. But I saw in his last fight, a shot that he does throw against an on-rushing opponent is a right hand. So as the opponent walks onto, he rushes onto him, he can dip back, he can throw the right hand as his opponent comes to him. So for Fowler to come forward without any sort of movement in a straight line, it's a risk. I would always say against a good counter puncher, going forward with single shots isn't a good idea. I think it's very much who's going to settle into the fight. You've got 12 round contest. Who settles down first? I'd like to see Rose is going to obviously look to find his distance with his left jab, and Fowler with his strength, with his I would say he's probably, just in my opinion, that he might have the better engine of the two. He's going to be wanting to come in and score with hard power shots. Against a noted puncher like Anthony Fowler, it's very important that you keep your distance, especially at the start, in the first few rounds. He's looking to land something big. The jab is going to be the real key here for Brian Rose, keeping his distance. I'd like to see him vary his jabs a bit more, but really the key is landing the jab and using it to upset the rhythm of Fowler. Well, when the fight was first made, it was actually a late call-up for Fowler. He stood in for Fitzgerald because that was the original matchup. The show got completely shelved, and this is the rescheduled fight. So I think Fowler's benefited from a full camp. It's hard for me to say how it goes because we don't know exactly how much Brian Rose has left. However, I like to think that Fowler, he's using the experience that he's picked up and certainly with his last loss to keep his discipline, and actually he could score a late stoppage here, but I think he'd be happy with a points victory.
Did you know that according to the theory of aerodynamics, and this may be very well demonstrated by the use of a wind tunnel, a bumblebee is technically unable to fly? You see, because of its size, weight and shape in relation to its overall wingspan, flight should be impossible. Yet the bumblebee, unaware of the scientific facts, achieves flight. And makes little honey too.